Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, I'm posing the question, how about we just call it Great Game 2.0? I'm reading all this stuff across the internet, seeing on YouTube, and throwing around a lot of real weird phraseology out there. World War III, oh my gosh, da-da-da-da-da. You know, I don't know how things are going to play out. I certainly know economically in the United States, things are not great right now, and that's possibly causing people to be even more hyperbolic than they otherwise would be. My thinking is okay, look, we understand the world is the world. There's great powers in the world, and they're going to do their thing in the world. There was a time, where there was sort of one unipolar moment, and I don't know if that's over or not, but clearly we're kind of seeing the edges of that universe at the very least, if we haven't already crossed the border into some sort of new multipolar world, a sort of concert of Asia, concert of Earth kind of situation, referring to the so-called concert of Europe we had in the 19th century, after Talleyrand and Metternich and these guys all got together and put together essentially a system of checks and balances that essentially saw Europe hold together in relative peace for about 100 years, although it culminated in arguably the most massive war up to that time. So, you got to weigh it out. The point I'm trying to make is, why phrase this stuff in the wording of war? World War III or whatever. I don't know that that does anybody any good. And beyond even that, I don't even think it's the right paradigm to look at Asia through right now. I don't think it's the right lens to use. I like the notion of great game, the old great game. You had the British were here and they were doing this and that because they were countering the Russians in that sector, and then the Chinese were doing this and the Western powers were doing that, and the Japanese rose, and I just kind of like, if we're using phrases, sort of grandiose language, I like Great Game 2.0, rather than let's just call it the Great Game. Why do we have to make it all just war? And beyond even that, man, wars are awful. Let's be real clear on that. I don't think anybody really wants that, but maybe we do need a term to explain what we're in now. And I kind of like the Great Game. I just think that's a phrase that conveys a lot of nuance, and to anybody that's looked up sort of the era around sort of the last Great Game, if you will, going into things like the Opium Wars, which depending on your perspective isn't the greatest thing to look at, but it more clearly conveys, and in a more meta nature, for lack of a better term, conveys, I think, where the world's heading more than the notion of, the Third World War or something. I just don't think, one, that fully encapsulates the world that we will be looking at over the course of the coming months, years, decades. But beyond even that, I also think it's hyperbole, and it's kind of dangerous hyperbole at that.